Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review, and today we're going to be looking at the classic Convoy M1. I've reviewed this light before, but this is the version that comes with a new upgraded LED, the SFT25R. Quite difficult to find these LEDs out in the market at the moment because they're quite new. I know a lot of manufacturers are starting to use them, but it's really good to see Convoy. They always seem to have access to those newer LEDs, and this is really the perfect host to have this in. You've got a large, fairly large reflector in there that's going to be able to optimize the range of this LED. And the great thing about the SFT25R is that it's got a round, die surface, so this just makes it much easier to focus, and the hotspot just looks perfectly circular. So yeah, I know the head is a little bit large for some people. I mean, comparing it to, say, something like the Convoy S2, the S2 is going to be a lot easier to carry around, but the battery tube is pretty much the same, except, yeah, it's got that larger head on there, and you're going to need that if you want that long-range performance, or extra long-range performance anyway. The S8 still does pretty well. So let's have a look what you get in the box. Now, pretty simple with Convoy. You don't really get all that much. This is the box here. Just see if I can focus the text. So M1 SFT25R, and I've got the 8 amp buck driver version. So I really wanted to maximize the performance of this LED. So yeah, I initially considered asking for the M2, which has a smaller head, but yeah, I have got that M2 model, and sometimes I just find, I wish I had that M1 with me to have that slightly further distance. And yeah, I reckon I'm happy to put up with just that, slightly larger head in my pocket. That way I don't regret, going for something that had a bit more performance. But yeah, 8 amps, it's able to handle that amount of current because I would say there's just enough heat sinking on here, but it does still get fairly hot. And yeah, I'll just sort of compare it to a few other lights as well. So the M1 S8, and I've also got the Z1 here. And of course, I've got a smaller one here, the Convoy T6. So it's somewhere in the middle. It's like a medium-sized flashlight. I guess that's why they use the M, what do you call it, nomenclature. So the S here for small. So yeah, I think this is probably on the larger side of, the largest EDC light that I'd carry around with me, but yeah, you just can't beat that performance. Keep in mind that this light does not come with a clip or battery, so you're gonna have to purchase those separately from the Convoy site. It's usually pretty cheap. You do get this little lanyard though. So having a look at the overall construction quality, I mean, for this price point, there's no way you can complain. It's pretty solid, and it's not an exciting sort of design. Many people have commented on that before, that there are more interesting looking designs out there. But yeah, I tell you what, it does the job. And you've got this kind of rugged military style sort of design. You've got these nice cutouts in the head as well, which helps to dissipate heat. Very important when you're running this LED at 8 amps. And the anodizing is sort of between matte black and shiny. And yeah, it is a little slippery, I suppose, but good thing you've got a ton of grip from the knurling, so that really does help. Talked about the cooling fins as well before. You've got a switch here on the back, just a rubber switch that's recessed, so it does allow you to tail stand the light. No charging port on there. There is a crenulated bezel, and yeah, you've got underneath there, as I showed you before, the SFT25R, smooth reflector, and a glass lens. So in terms of the UI, I've talked about this, heaps in my previous Convoy videos. You can go ahead and watch them. It's the same 12 mode grouping UI that you get with most Convoy models. So I've got mine set at the moment to the 100%, 35%, 10%, 1%, and then 0.1% mode. So this just allows me a whole different range of modes depending on depending on the usage scenario. But yeah, I always disable the memory mode so that when I turn it on, it always starts at 100%, just in case I need to activate that light quickly in an emergency and get that full blast of light. The 12 mode grouping is the one that I would recommend, even though it's a little bit tricky to change the mode groupings initially when you're learning how to use the UI. It just means that you can customize this light to your particular usage. So if you perhaps want the light always to turn on to 100%, have no other modes, there is a mode in the UI that you can select. There's also groupings that start at 50% power and then go down from there. So this one here, like I said before, it suits me quite well. 5 different modes from really, really low to 100%. There is also a 4 mode grouping option that's just has four modes in here. You can't change it. So 135, 10, and 1%. Okay, so I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests with the Convoy M1 SFT25R, and this is the 100% mode. And you can see here, you pretty much get between 80 to 100% of output all the way to the 4-minute mark, where the light steps down quite abruptly, and you are almost on about 50% output, between about 50 or 60% output. And I ended the test just after the 16-minute mark because the light was getting pretty hot. I've also run a second ceiling bounce test here, as you can see, and this is only 35% mode. Didn't see much change, basically between 95 and 100% for the duration of the test. Also ran some tests with my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and this is the figure you're looking for, 100%. What do you get? 716 meters of throw. Super impressive for a little flashlight like this, and it really does help to have that round LED in there. It makes it much easier to focus, makes the spot more intense. This thing throws almost as far as my green Osram PM1 LED in here. So, you get nearly a kilometer of throw with that, but again, it's green light. This is white light, and you get a lot more light from this thing as well. CCT, as you can see here, starts out a bit lower, so at 5,500, and then rises to 5,800 in this particular model. So yeah, it was rated at 6,500, so it seemed a little bit lower, but I don't mind, just as if it's a little bit warmer on the eyes, it's just easier anyway. So you've also got some CRI figures here that I took, so between 64 to 66. So it's really not the best for recognizing colors at night, but yeah, at the end of the day, this is the type of light that you get for spotting long range kind of performance. I think the SFT25R is absolutely a game changer. You get that long range performance in a small package. It outperforms the SFT40 by a significant margin. Brand produces a similar amount of light as well, depending on the bin, the LED bin, but it should produce between 1,500 to 2,000 plus lumens, even on the lower end. And yeah, I thought I'd go through some considerations as well. So with Convoy lights, it really comes with all the bare basics. So you get the light itself. It doesn't come with the battery. It does come with a lanyard. So you're going to need to purchase a battery separately, or you can get one through the Convoy website. Good news is that it's pretty cheap. And also an external charger. So this does not have any onboard charging. Also pretty easy to find an 18650 charger. They're pretty much available all over the place. The second consideration is that this light does get pretty hot. So if you're using it on 100% or even on the 35% mode for extended periods of time, there's going to be a point where you're not going to be able to hold the light anymore, and I wouldn't advise to run the light on 100% for a long period of time as well. It just gets way too hot. But yeah, on the 35% you can get by, especially depending on the environment that you're using the light in. If you're in a colder environment, you're going to be completely fine. But at the moment in Australia, it's about 30 degrees Celsius. So yeah, for me, that's getting there in terms of hot. So yeah, this thing does heat up quite quickly. The fourth consideration is limited spill. Okay, the M1 is designed as a thrower, so it may not provide adequate flood for those close-up tasks. But yeah, you can also adjust the brightness, like I was mentioning before, just half press, and see, you can use it for short range purposes if you really need to. So overall, the Convoy M1 with the SFT25R LED is an outstanding high candela flashlight. punches well above its weight in terms of performance, especially for what you pay. And yeah, it's got a powerful throw, customizable UI, like I was mentioning, rugged build. You know, this thing definitely take a hit. And yeah, I think the M1 is really the top choice if you're a budget conscious user looking for a compact yet capable long range flashlight. I know the lack of clip and onboard charging might deter some of you, but yeah, clip you can buy separately. The onboard charging feature is not a deal breaker for me. You can carry around an extra battery, but yeah, you will have to purchase another charger, like I said. And yeah, overall, I just think in terms of its low price, incredible performance, it's great for enthusiasts or any kind of practical users out there who need sort of long range performance. So if you're interested, check out the link in the description below. You can get the M1 there. And yeah, if you have questions, just let me know also down below in the comments and I will get back to you. Probably missed out on a thing here or there. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a big favor, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, even share it with someone who might be interested. It just helps me to grow my channel further. And yeah, if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest news, make sure you subscribe.
The Convoy M1 with the SFT 25R. Wow. Just so impressive. And I really love how that beam is just a completely perfect circle. You can see the edges of the circle, but it still blends nicely into the spill. But it's not like the SFT40 that kind of tapers off, fades in a little bit more, and it has less candela in the center. It's even hitting those trees all the way out the back through the clearing. 35%, still pretty good. You can run this on 35% and it's not going to step down for a very long time. 10%, 1%, and 0.1%. And look, on these lower modes like 0.1 and 1%, you can use them as a walking light. It's not ideal, but yeah, the spill doesn't really show up on camera because it's so dim, but you can use it as a walking light. But yeah, primarily it's going to be a long range thrower. Look at that. Yeah, it just has significantly more candela than an SFT40 in the same host. If it came down between the 25 and the 40, I'd definitely get the 25. And just for fun, I also brought along my other M1 to the right, and this has got a CSL NM1 F1. So it's like a green throwy emitter. And I'll tell you what, the SFT25 is keeping up, but of course, you know, you're just going to get way more intensity, way more candela with this green Osram W1, sorry. But at this point, I mean, on a practical level, I can't really tell the difference. Like if I look at the clearing of those trees out the back, not much of a difference. And the big, yeah, I guess you can sort of see a slight difference with those trees out there, but it's not as much as I would think for like a 200 meter distance difference. So really, I think if it came down between choosing either the white and the green one, it'd just be a preference, a color preference. And if, of course, you need that extra 200 meters of range, the green just is able to outperform a bit more. But up to the medium to, you know, 200, 300 plus, 200, 300 meters, I mean, I'll definitely just get the SFT25. And I'm tempted to just say I'd get it regardless, because the hotspot is, I mean, if you look at both of them side by side, it's almost 2.5 times, maybe 3 times larger than the NM1 hotspot in the same M1 host. It's just a much more practical beam. of course. So, yeah.